When a demon tower unexpectedly materializes on Earth, humanity faces devastation from the horrors within. Demons and fierce beasts emerge, leaving everyone defenseless. Yet, humanity starts to develop supernatural abilities for self-defense. These newly empowered individuals strive to become heroes, aiming to be the last person standing. However, the true invincible foe, the Demon King, resides at the tower's peak. If the protagonist is the last one standing, could the Demon King be considered our new hero? Many eons ago, a demonic tower erupted from the ground, signaling the end of the world. However, humanity began awakening supernatural abilities to combat the demons descending from the tower. Generations pass, and some heroes perished, allowing new ones to rise. Mankind believed that one day, justice will overpower evil. True enough, a new hero emerged, possessing unparalleled talent, near-perfect wisdom, and amazing luck. He was able to reach the highest floor of the tower, making him mankind's most powerful challenger to date, and also the most promising one, to end the dark times once and for all. He is known as the Light of Humanity, Lin Shiyao. As Lin Shiyao and his squad reach the topmost tower, he can't help but think that this is already his third regression. He has leveled everything to the max, including his attributes and skills. He has also obtained all the strongest weapons and tools known in the whole world. On top of that, his system prompt has helped and supported him to navigate through the past years, and they even have step-by-step data. According to it, he can end the ongoing chaos as long as he clears the last floor of the magic tower. Although this sounds like great news, Lin Shiyao is a bit upset that he didn't get to see the monster that reigns on the top. He hasn't appeared, and he can't find any information about him on the system prompt. As Lin Shiyao is deep in thought, his squad jokingly mocks him, saying that he's spacing out and thinking about girls. Hearing this, Lin Shiyao quickly snaps out of it and says he was just thinking about what they should do after they defeat the Demon King. He might think he's convincing, but his squad is not believing any of his alibi. Lin Shiyao can only sigh at this reoccurring experience because everybody thinks he's spacing out when in reality, he's looking at the system prompt. As he noticed, it seemed like he was the only one who could see it or even know about its existence. Because of that, he can only come up with the lamest excuses every time he gets called out. As the squad roams around the top floor, they notice it's drastically different from the previous ones. It's very empty, and no boss is guarding the place. Additionally, it's weirdly elegant, bright, and clean, compared to the lower levels, which were dark and scary. Lin Shiyao reckons that angels tend to look scary since they need to scare away the devils. On the other hand, devils tend to look beautiful since they need to lure mankind to trust them. He then warns his squad, telling them that it's not safe on the top floor, although it may look safe and pretty on the surface. Although this is Lin Shiyao's third regression, this is the first time he has reached the top level of the tower, and he doesn't know what horrors it holds. As the squad members cautiously explore the place, one of them credits Lin Shiyao for leading them to the top floor. He claims that if it weren't for him, they wouldn't have gotten this rare feat. Another one adds that Lin Shiyao seems to know his enemy's skills before fighting them, as if he killed them countless times in the past. Another squad member agrees, adding that the light of victory is right ahead, and the future of mankind depends on their entire team. Meanwhile, the only girl in the squad calls out Lin Shiyao, telling him that victory is within their reach because of his presence. Lin Shiyao smiles and says they should work hard, but before he can finish his sentence, a fountain of blood erupts, and he stares in horror as the girl's head is severed by an unknown force. Her lifeless eyes continue to gaze at him, and her body trembles before her head hits the floor. The rest of the squad met the same fate, bathing in their blood. Out of nowhere, a demon appears behind him, ominously greeting him hello. Stunned, Lin Shiyao immediately turns around and swings his sword, asking the culprit to show himself. He's quite shocked, as he didn't even notice the demon's presence. However, the demon deflects his attack with a simple flick of his finger, saying that the sword is good, but it's too brittle for someone like him. Lin Shiyao is shocked that his sword broke, as it's the strongest weapon known to the world. The demon suddenly appears behind him and pushes him back with a powerful force, sending Lin Shiyao crashing into a wall. As he slides off the wall bathed in his blood, he realizes that this evil figure is none other than the Demon King himself. Lin Shiyao just can't believe it, as the Demon King looks so much like a real human. Just then, the Demon King explains that he is the embodiment of mankind's fear of the unknown. Since he was born out of mankind's dark nature, he naturally took on a human form. Suddenly, Lin Xiao activates the Eye of Truth to assess the Demon King's power. The system window shows his unaffected health, which hasn't even decreased. Shocked, Lin Xiao utters that it is impossible, knowing that he gave his best shot and did no damage at all. He also discovers that the Demon King has an HP lock, a permanent and unconditional one. As for his mana, he has an infinite amount of MP. Knowing all this, Lin Xiao struggles to grasp the truth. This demon is undefeatable. Lin Xiao sits in fear, realizing that for the first time ever, the system strongly warns him of danger because he has no chance of winning. He tries to collect his thoughts, needing to calm down and think of what he should do. Just as he decides to withdraw, the Demon King grabs the system window with a grin, effortlessly shattering it into pieces. Lin Xiao holds his breath, staring at the demon in shock. The Demon King suddenly comments that Lin Xiao found an awesome object, and it seems like he was the only one who could see it. Or so he thought. The Demon King then asks if he has been guiding Lin Xiao all this time. This would explain how he was able to locate the world's strongest weapons and tools. The Demon King doesn't exactly know much about the system prompt, but it sure is gone now. Furious, Lin Xiao screams at the demon for destroying his precious system. The Demon King only chuckles, claiming that he didn't even see the system, but this won't stop him because he's practically undefeatable. As everything unfolds, Lin Xiao embraces his doom. He's going to die, and he doesn't even have a single ounce of resistance left in him. Well, it was nice while it lasted. Although this is not Lin Xiao's first time dying, he has never been more scared in his life than he is now. No matter what angle he looks at, there's just no way to defeat the Demon King. He almost gives up, but he urges himself to fight back, even if it means dying. If he regresses next time, he only has to work harder. He won't die helplessly, because there is still hope for humanity. As Lin Xiao gets lost in his pep talk, he doesn't notice that he is being healed by an unknown force. The Demon King is healing him. He doesn't understand the demon's motives, but it does feel warm, like top-tier healing magic. Lin Xiao feels the stream of healing energy flowing through his body, as if it will never end. Suddenly, Lin Xiao asks the demon why he's healing him. To his shock, the Demon King asks if he's a regressor. The Demon King figured this out based on Lin Xiao's fighting skills and knowledge of the demons on the lower levels. But since Lin Xiao was surprised upon meeting him, the Demon King concludes that regression is the only explanation. This leaves the Demon King curious, wondering if this is Lin Xiao's first, second, or third time regressing. Just then, the Demon King theorizes that killing Lin Xiao will just reset the cycle, with Lin Xiao returning with a new plan each time. He will do this again and again in an endless time loop, eventually allowing him to kill the Demon King. Based on Lin Xiao's expression, the Demon King confirms that his speculations are right. That being said, the Demon King won't let Lin Xiao die. He suddenly snaps his finger, and a demonic flow of energy swirls around Lin Xiao. As Lin Xiao is constricted, the Demon King commends his armor, saying that it is indeed sturdy and cannot be destroyed by anyone other than him. He expected this of someone who had regressed for a third time. As Lin Xiao tries to grasp everything that is happening to him, the Demon King reveals that his ability will continuously heal Lin Xiao, making him immortal, and his armor will imprison him, preventing escape. He will be encapsulated forever, neither dead nor alive. Suddenly, Lin Xiao's skin dries out completely and his armor starts to melt. His body and armor transform, with golden ornaments growing on his head and his arms turning into armrests. His complete transformation results in a huge, luxurious throne at the end of the hall, and the Demon King sits on it with ease. The corpses of Lin Xiao's squad suddenly turn into crystals, making them part of the top floor's ornaments. Normally, the protagonist always carries a protagonist's aura, but then again, everyone thinks they're the protagonist. In that case, you won't ever know who the good guys are until they're the last ones standing. In that case, our champion is not Lin Xiao, but the Demon King. Why? Well, he's only the strongest boss for a reason. News of Lin Xiao's squad's death spreads throughout the country, bringing the nation to tears. News anchors regret to inform viewers that Lin Xiao and his team died on the top floor, just one step away from a monumental victory. People stand frozen on the streets, eyes fixed on giant screens announcing the tragic news. The Association of Human Awakeners expresses its deepest condolences, but urges people not to lose hope. They then call upon those capable of fighting to challenge the tower and prevent the invasion of monsters. Meanwhile, other awakened ones wander the city streets, eager to challenge the tower or themselves. There, a girl approaches an armored guy named Qingfeng, asking if the ruined building in front of them is a hidden S-class dungeon. Dungeons are connections between the demonic tower and human settlements, appearing anywhere in the city and unleashing demonic creatures that wreak havoc. Once the monsters emerge from the dungeon, it will always lead to an invasion. Because of that, only a few members of the Human Awakened Association are tasked to raid the magic tower beyond the city. However, most members are motivated to find and break through the dungeon within the city, hoping to maintain its safety. Just then, Qingfeng and the girl approach a blue portal near the ruined building, which leads them to an S-rank dungeon. As they arrive, the girl asks Qingfeng if the S-class monsters in the dungeon really drop the Cone of Blood, a rule-based prop that has to deal 1 drop of damage. She's also worried about the Demon King, and she wonders if regular items can affect him. Qingfeng then replies to the girl, whose name is Tian, telling her that good will defeat evil. Offended that she's doubting him, Qingfeng also tells her that her awareness is far from enough. Tian immediately apologizes, reassuring Qingfeng that he is the pride of heaven and will soon be better than Lin Xiyao. Her eyes shine with admiration, and she vows to support him. As the two venture further, they come across the corpse of a massive monster, lying in a pool of its own blood, with the Demon King sitting on its back. Surprised, the two wonder if the Cone of Blood has already been claimed by someone else. Meanwhile, the Demon King smiles, explaining that he anticipated people would try to defeat him with rules-based props. Holding the bloody thorn, he reveals he arrived earlier to claim it from those who plan to use it against him. Just then, Qingfeng congratulates the Demon King for doing well, referring to him as a kid. Oh, he's definitely dying. As Qingfeng asks for the cone, the Demon King smiles in pity, pointing out that this intruder is stealing his things when he doesn't even know who he is. Qingfeng justifies that this isn't robbery because it's for the sake of humanity. He then introduces himself as Bai Qingfeng, and he assumes that the Demon King knows him. He also insists that the cone will be more valuable in his hands instead of the Demon King's. He believes that everything he's doing will lead him to defeat the Demon King, which will bring justice to the world. Man, this is awkward. Just then, the Demon King decides to teach this cocky Chad a lesson. He suddenly activates the cone, causing a red mist to emanate from it. Qingfeng, shocked by the powerful magic, quickly uses a rules-based prop, a crystal cube, to create an indestructible shield within a 2-meter radius. As he tries to hold his ground, Qingfeng notices his enemy's magic power, making him wonder if he's human at all. Just then, Qingfeng's eyes widen in horror as he sees Tian being held on the neck. The Demon King looks at him with a cold gaze as he lifts Tian with one hand, saying that he is aware of who Qingfeng is. He claims that he's the mysterious genius who is known as the next Lin Xiyao. Suddenly, the Demon King proposes a deal. He will release Tian if King Feng dispels his shield. However, Qingfeng is not in the mood to negotiate, and he doesn't even let the Demon King continue speaking. He then tells Tian that she is sacrificing herself for the sake of the world. When she dies, he will create a memorial sculpture for her. What a jerk. Just then, Qingfeng breaks out of the cube and charges at the Demon King, who quickly evades, while taking Tian with him. The Demon King is surprised that Qingfeng didn't hesitate to attack him, and didn't even care if his admirer died. This leaves the Demon King confused, as he clearly sees that human nature is unpredictable. However, Qingfeng argues that a powerful hero is always lonely, and those around him often become sacrifices. He then points at the Demon King, blaming him for everything. The Demon King, however, says some people don't think the same way as Qingfeng. Just then, the Demon King loosens his grip on Tian. She can barely grasp Qingfeng's betrayal, and she has always been the only one who followed him from the very start. Despite that, she is still willing to do anything for him. Geez, woman, grow a backbone. She suddenly screams at Qingfeng to leave her and escape through the crystal cube. However, Qingfeng refuses to run like a coward because he has a reputation to uphold. He then prepares to strike the Demon King, claiming that good will defeat evil because they have firm belief and determination to win. He goes on to yap about the power of human resilience, but this only makes the Demon King erupt in laughter. He suddenly gets serious, saying that he won't be polite with Qingfeng, since he won't surrender. Suddenly, the Demon King surrounds Qingfeng with a surge of demonic energy. The ground suddenly swallows him, leaving him confused as the series of events unfolded too fast. Qingfeng can barely believe that he's defeated just like that, so he pleads with the Demon King to spare him. However, the Demon King remains resolute, suggesting that Qing Feng takes a sip of lava if ever he gets hungry. He believes that righteous heroes like Qing Feng should already know what sacrifices are. After all, someone as great as him deserves a heroic death. And so Qing Feng continues to fall into the abyss, screaming that this shouldn't be his ending. As he continues to beg for mercy, the ground suddenly closes, and the Demon King walks away with no remorse. Tian is left shocked, and she struggles to cope with the truth. Now that Qing Feng is dead, she'll surely be next. However, she notices that the Demon King has already summoned a portal, indicating that he's leaving. She suddenly asks if he won't kill him, which is a stupid question. If you ask me. The Demon King replies that he made a promise to spare her and Qing Feng if he dispelled the cube, and he always stays true to his word. But since Qing Feng didn't want to leave, then he's getting what he desires. As for Tian, the Demon King tells her that he will surely kill her the next time they meet. Tian looked at him in amazement, still not believing that he spared her. Meanwhile, the Demon King finally exits the portal, and he brings himself into the human world, dressed as an ordinary man. Meanwhile, in the Human Awakened Association headquarters, the women at the front desk are gushing at the new volunteer. Suddenly, another woman pushes her colleague aside, claiming that monsters have become more and more rampant lately, and it is said that there are even monsters within the city. That being said, she strongly welcomes powerful awakeners like him, especially since he's so handsome. She then asks for his name, level, and abilities, offering to help with registration. Suddenly, it is revealed that the volunteer is none other than the Demon King himself, using Qing Feng's identity as his own. Meanwhile, a meeting is being held in the Seven Elders Hall, the Human Awakened Association's headquarters. In the hall, 7 chairs are arranged in a semicircle, but one is empty. One elder regrets to say that from the 7, only 6 are left. He never thought Lin Xiyao, who could regress, would also fail against the magic tower. Suddenly, the man at the bottom of the hall addresses the elders, saying that as long as the Demon King is in the tower, he will keep on enjoying his unconditional health lock and infinite magic powers. They can no longer allow their heroes to sacrifice themselves, so they must come up with a new plan. The man claims that he has already told mankind that it is forbidden to challenge the tower. At the moment, people are trying to search for items that can seal the Demon Tower, keeping the Demon King and the monsters within. If these monsters no longer rush out of the underground cities, human cities will be safe. Suddenly, an elder mentions that he has summoned a chosen one from another dimension, now referred to as a traveler from Earth. However, the elder claims that this matter is completely kept a secret from the outside world. Even the chosen one doesn't know that he is about to save the world. After all, saving another world has always been the mission of a time traveler. The elder, who is a mommy milker with raven hair, then explains that the chosen one's soul resides in Lin Xiyao's younger brother, Li Feng. Since arriving, he behaved with restraint and had his own thoughts about everything. He now leads a small but powerful squad into the dungeon, searching for artifacts to seal the demonic tower. Suddenly, one of the elders, a drunkard who can see the future, comments that he made a divination for Li Feng last month on the night of the full moon. According to him, the hexagram shows that he will soon find the props to seal the magic tower. After the meeting, the old man retreats to his room. The girl from the reception follows him around, asking if it's true that Li Feng would find the artifact to seal the tower. She wondered if the demonic tower would soon be sealed, finally saving everyone. The elder prophet, taking another chug from his flask, turns to her with a smile, saying it was excellent news. But what if the Demon King isn't in the tower during the sealing? What if he wandered among them in the city instead? The girl, frightened by his sudden approach, asks what they should do. Out of nowhere, he slaps her on the bum, telling her to take a chill pill. She slightly flinches, and then the prophet laughs, saying he was just joking. The elder claims that if the Demon King left the tower, he would immediately lose his blessing, becoming no stronger than the best awakened people. If people found out, they would do everything to kill him. Considering that this old man is already drunk, he enthusiastically explains that the Demon King has 2 options: remain in the tower and be sealed with everyone else, or leave it and be surrounded by countless enemies. Humanity will win either way, as long as Li Feng finds the props to seal the magic. His hexagram showed that Li Feng, the chosen one from the parallel world, would find this object by nightfall. The old man basks in his prophecy like a madman, making the woman from the front desk excuse herself out of awkwardness. Just then, the old man opens the door to his room and finds a stranger sitting by the window. He points at the figure and demands to know the young man's identity and why he's in his room. The stranger is none other than the Demon King, still taking on Bai Qingfeng's identity. He introduces himself to the Elder, claiming that he's a new awakener who just joined the association. Reassured, the Elder Prophet closes the door and says that he heard about him as the new hidden genius. The Demon King downplays the compliment and says he's not much of a genius. However, it would be an honor for him to eradicate the Demon King. Just then, the old man waves his hand, telling the Demon King to sit down and not be so formal. The Demon King remains standing, mentioning that he heard the Elder Prophet is the only one among the 7 elders who can predict the future. He then reveals that he joined the association to know the future, especially the Demon King's fate. Meanwhile, the old man leans back with his eyes closed, saying that the young man is taking things too lightly. If he could predict the future of the Demon King, he would be the light of humanity, not Lin Shiyao. He adds that his predictions only work during a full moon, and he needs direct contact with the person to make a prediction. The Demon King's red eye lights up as he hears this, and he asks if it's a full moon tonight. The old man is shocked by the Demon King's stupidity, so he retorts that the issue isn't the full moon, but the need for direct contact. He couldn't just walk into the tower and touch the Demon King now, could he? He adds that he has no fighting ability, and he can't break into the tower. He then sarcastically asks the young man where he can get a Demon King for him. As soon as the Elder finishes yapping, the Demon King suddenly casts his power over him. The Elder Prophet struggles to move, and he realizes that the young man is not Bai Qingfeng, but the Demon King himself. As the Demon King constricts the Elder, he uses the old man's skills to peer into his future. According to the Elder, the Demon King will be killed by a human in the next season, when snowflakes begin to fall. This infuriates the Demon King, leading him to lift the Elder by the neck with just one hand. He then asks the old man if his predictions are accurate. Struggling to breathe, the old man tries to save himself by saying that he can be of great use. Hearing this, the Demon King tells the Elder to predict if he will kill him tonight. The old man can only freeze in horror, knowing that death is at his doorstep. Before all this chaos ensued, there was an ordinary boy in the human world who was reading a comic. The concept is very similar to that of a world with a demon tower, where Lin Shiyao existed. This is your typical isekai trope. A guy from the modern world transmigrates to a parallel world where he was once a wimp, but now he's fighting monsters and leveling up. He becomes cool, beats up arrogant people, and in the end, this unlikely hero defeats the Demon King. That loser from Earth is none other than Lin Shiyao. One day, while reading this novel on his way to work, the boy got hit by a truck and died, splattering blood on the novel's cover, a typical isekai prologue. Indeed, this is a tale of soul transmigration, and he became a character within the novel. This is how Li Feng appeared in the same world as his brother, the legendary Lin Shiyao. Unlike Lin Shiyao, Li Feng was known as a hedonist and a villain, always living in his brother's shadow. These are his memories of this character, but everything will change now that he's here. One day, Li Feng approaches his father and claims to know the location of a map, detailing where the sealing item is located. He requests a strong team to find it, since Li Feng is familiar with the novel's storyline and has an omniscient point of view. He recognizes the map marking the item that could seal the demonic tower. Not long after, he retrieves the map that records the location of the precious item. After his successful mission, he heads to the main hall of the Awakened Association with his team. He thinks that although his older brother has died, the real protagonist has yet to appear. The time will come when he will be the savior of this world, making him a true hero. He then turns to Xiao Ya and with a smile says they can definitely get the sealing artifact with her on the team. However, she barely responds and only nods in agreement. Li Feng thinks she's a cold beauty, a stark contrast to his past life, where he wouldn't have dared to dream of being close to someone like her. But in this life, she's his fiancée. Bro just scored his second life and bagged a baddie. Just then, a passerby catcalls Tian Tian, making her panic. Li Feng looks at the frightened Tian Tian behind him, thinking she looks like a scared rabbit who's always seeking his protection. He puts his hand on her head, assuring her it's safe at the headquarters. After walking away, he clenches his fist victoriously, feeling lucky that he's with an airheaded beauty who thinks of nothing but romance. As expected, transmigrators really have a cheat life. Just then, Li Feng excuses himself and tells his team to handle the leftover matter. Tian Tian suddenly asks where he's going, and he replies that he's going to find the Great Prophet and have a chat with him. As Li Feng walks away, he can't help but be excited about sealing the demonic tower. If that happens, He can get anything that he wants, especially women. As his team approaches the reception desk, Xiao Ya greets the workers, saying they want to transact service. The receptionist asks how she can help, and Xiao Ya replies that she wants to recommend a person to join the association. When the receptionist asks who it is, Xiao Ya introduces Li Tian, explaining she and Li Feng saved her during a dungeon clearing. Tian nervously greets the receptionist, and Xiao Ya adds that the girl survived an encounter with the Demon King, making her a valuable addition. Hearing the Demon King's name being mentioned, the receptionist turns pale in shock. Tian confirms that Xiao Ya's information is correct, explaining that Qing Feng, the hidden genius, encountered the Demon King in the dungeon and was killed, but she managed to escape. She then joined Li Feng and Ziya's team when they found her. Confused, the receptionist mentions a Qing Feng is alive and just joined the association, much to Tian's surprise. The receptionist adds that Qing Feng was around a while ago, but he went to see the Great Prophet. Both Tian and Xiao Ya are shocked to hear this, and they're worried about what this may indicate. Meanwhile, the Demon King smiles as he chokes the Elder Prophet, eager to kill him. The old man begs for his life, but the Demon King only prolongs the torture, as asks if the prophet has already divined his ending. The old man struggles to breathe by the minute, but he continues to plead, saying that he is willing to work under the Demon King. However, the Demon King is unimpressed by their interaction. He used to think that all humans are just like Lin Xiao, full of courage, justice, and strength. But like always, he can't predict human behavior. He might have to improve his knowledge about his enemies. He thought the Elder Prophet might be righteous, but that's not the case. However, he does appreciate his performance, so he'll do him the honor of a quick death. The Demon King then uses his powers on the Elder Prophet, killing him in a snap. As the Demon King leaves the scene of the crime, he thinks about what he should do now that he knows his future. If he returns to the demonic tower and Li Feng finds the sealing item as the prophecy said, he will forever be trapped in the demonic tower. If he prevents Li Feng, he might fail and he'll be killed by a hero, just like the divination stated. Both options are dead ends, so what should he do? He knows that it's still too risky for him to leave the tower, so he decides to go back. On the bright side, he already knows the prophecy. He only has to think of a way to prevent it from happening. Just then, he remembers a back door, which might just help him escape the headquarters unnoticed. However, someone suddenly taps his arm, and it's Li Feng, asking him who he is because he has never seen him before. The Demon King panicked because he was discovered, but he plays it cool and says that he's a newbie in the association. He then asks if Li Feng needs something. Li Feng suddenly points to the S-rank Awakener badge on the Demon King's jacket, questioning if he is really that strong. He invites him to join his team, mentioning their mission to find an item that could seal the demonic tower forever. Oh, God. Just when you thought these heroes stood a chance, Li Feng continues, introducing himself to the Demon King and claiming that he's going to be known throughout the world. With an eager smile, Li Feng urges the Demon King to join his team. Knowing that he has his target locked, the Demon King smiles and accepts the invitation. With their agreements settled, Li Feng heads to see the Elder Prophet. On their way to see the Elder Prophet, Li Feng keeps yapping about how lucky the Demon King is to have a leader like him. He also promises the Demon King that his name will soon be known throughout the world, but he must first be an obedient follower. Li Feng then shares that he saves a pretty girl in his last mission, and she's Bai Qing Feng's partner. He claims that she's the only person who managed to stay alive after encountering the Demon King. The Demon King then asks if she's still alive, and Li Feng confirms, adding that her name is Li Tian, a new member of his team. Upon hearing this, the Demon King slowly tries to leave, but Li Feng notices and asks where he's going. The Demon King comes up with an alibi, saying that the pig from his hometown is about to give birth, and he has to assist with the postnatal care. Man, that's such a random excuse. However, just before he could leave, Tian and Xiao Ya arrived. Li Feng waves at them, then he quickly whispers to the Demon King that being surrounded by beauties all the time is tiring, but he can't help it since they enjoy his company so much. Just then, Tian reacts as soon as she sees the Demon King. The Demon King promptly accumulates demonic energy in preparation for an attack, but he's surprised to see Tian's reaction. She joyfully hugs him, glad that Qing Feng has escaped the Demon King and lived. Hearing this, Li Feng gets confused as the Bai Qing Feng in the original story died in the hands of the Demon King. Meanwhile, Tian gushes over the Demon King, saying that she was longing to see him again. This major simp just forgot. He tried sacrificing her. She also adds that she will repay his kindness by being his loyal follower. On the other hand, the Demon King is still skeptical about Tian's reaction. He knows that she's pretending not to see his real identity, but it sure feels nice to meet humans who seek refuge from demons. Despite being weirded out, the Demon King commends Tian's decision, adding that he will treat her well. Hearing this, Li Feng interrupts, reminding everyone that he's the leader who should be followed. However, he doesn't get to finish his rant when Shi Ya suddenly intervenes, wanting to meet the rumored genius, Bai Qingfeng. With a smile, Shi Ya introduces herself, adding that she heard a lot about Qingfeng. Of course, the whiny Li Feng tries intervening, reminding Shi Ya that she's his fiancée. However, Shi Ya doesn't even acknowledge him, and she continues speaking to the Demon King, asking him and Tian about the Demon King's appearance. Tian overreacts, saying that he's ferocious and terrifying, while the Demon King merely says he just looks like a bad person. He wouldn't want to criticize himself, right? Their contrasting answers make them erupt in laughter, which only irritates Li Feng. Li Feng suddenly recalls the original story where Bai Qingfeng died at the hands of the Demon King early on. Bai Tian was the only person who saw him. Everything is not making sense, leaving Li Feng wondering if his actions are causing the butterfly effect. He can't be sure, so he has to ask the Elder Prophet about Qingfeng. Just then, the receptionist runs towards Li Feng, tragically informing him that the Elder Prophet got killed. She claims that he was alive half an hour ago. She then tells Li Feng to seal off the association and investigate everyone that the old man has interacted with. Tian and Shi Ya are shocked, while the Demon King claims that he and Captain Li Feng were the last to meet the Elder Prophet. Li Feng suddenly curses in anger, saying that he didn't even get to meet the old man. He then mentions that he noticed the Demon King act suspiciously, and he just exited the Elder Prophet's room. Just then, the truth dawns on Li Feng. This imposter killed the Elder Prophet. Shi Ya suddenly tries calming her down, but he only slaps her and calls her an idiot. He claims that everyone has been deceived by this man, and he's not even the real Qingfeng. Just then, Li Feng charges toward the Demon King, claiming that he may deceive others, but he can't be fooled. However, the Demon King only dodges Li Feng's attack, slamming his elbow right into the young man's back. He coldly says that he has quite the audacity to talk to him in that tone, when he's nothing compared to Lin Xiao. The Demon King attacks Li Feng with so much impact that it sends him crying like a child. He then steps on his head, forcing him into the ground. As the two keep fighting, Xiao worries about Li Feng, while Tian cheers Qingfeng on. As the Demon King firmly places his foot on Li Feng's head, he wonders how the young hero unveiled his identity. As the Demon King keeps his foot on Li Feng's head, he says that he heard about him before. He is Lin Xiao's younger brother, who was known as the hope of humanity. However, compared to his brother's glory, Li Feng is a worthless, untalented trash, and he is even worse than the Demon King imagined. This makes him like Lin Xiao better. Li Feng suddenly shouts, asking who he's calling trash. He thinks that since being transported into this body, he has received incredible power and become an outstanding person, standing above everyone else. Xiao approaches the Demon King, saying that Li Feng did not mean to harm him. He's actually nice, but has become a little impulsive lately. A little? Out of nowhere, Li Feng suddenly escapes the Demon King's grip, and he activates his S-class weapon, the Ombi soul-racking claw. The Demon King reacts quickly, managing to jump back to avoid the blow. He then notices the shining golden brass knuckles on Li Feng's fingers, wondering how a scumbag like Li Feng acquired an S-class weapon. He thinks that although ordinary rank awakened ones are not his opponents, he does not remember Li Feng's name in the list of human geniuses. While they are busy fighting, a man suddenly comes up behind them, commanding them to stop fighting. Along with the command, a powerful stream of energy bursts out of his mouth, forcing the two men to stop. Li Feng is shocked, noticing that he just lost his magic. The Demon King suddenly looks back, wondering if someone just used rule-based power on them. The mysterious man is none other than the Awakener Association's president, who has the ability to make all the supernatural powers disappear within the domain. The president looks at them with a frown and says that each member of their association is a real treasure in the fight against demons, and they're out here making internal squabbles. After hearing that he's the president, the Demon King realizes that he's in big trouble. Because he's not in the demon tower, he doesn't have the buffs for infinite health, infinite mana, and ignoring all rules. He should be more careful with his behavior because this is all too risky for him. With this, the Demon King suddenly bows before the president. The president then apologizes for the inconvenience, and he promises that it won't happen again. Suddenly, Li Feng calls the president an old man, and he claims that he's biased towards Qing Feng. Li Feng takes offense at this, and he accuses the president of looking down on him like trash. Li Feng's behavior makes the Demon King question if he's really the genius who obtained an S-class weapon, and the map of the divine item, as he seems to have absolutely no brains or strong character. Suddenly, the president tells Li Feng to stop talking nonsense, stating he does not take anyone's side, and does everything only for the benefit of humanity. However, Li Feng only points his finger at him, and says he does not believe him. He suddenly barges out of the vicinity, claiming that everyone is looking down on him and doesn't value his worth. He then threatens that the sealing artifact will soon fall into his hands, and then they will find out who the real savior of the world is. When he finally leaves, the president takes a huge sigh, as if something was lifted off his shoulders. Just then, the president taps the Demon King on the shoulder, asking if he's Qing Feng. He then commends the young man, stating that he admires him for his strength, courteousness, and calmness. The Demon King smiles innocently, but at the back of his head, he can't figure out why humans like him so much. The president then shares that he has already made a preliminary investigation into the death of the Elder Prophet. Traces of demonic power were found at the crime scene, suggesting that a demon must have escaped from the dungeon and killed the old man. The president believes that humans definitely have nothing to do with it. As for the final verdict, it will require a more in-depth investigation. The president claims that the search for the divine item is imminent. He then suggests that the Demon King goes in search of it with Li Feng, as he is also humanity's future. The Demon King only smiles politely, knowing that he truly holds humanity's future. But the other way around. As the president leaves, he reminds the Demon King to keep working hard, because their future is in the hands of youngsters like him. Just then, Shi Yaoya excuses herself to go check on Li Feng, as he has been a bit irritable lately. However, before she could leave, the Demon King stopped her. He then asks if Li Feng's personality changed compared to his past self. This makes him curious, so he asks how this happened. It suddenly dawns on the Demon King that he might have pried too much, and Shi Yaoya might get suspicious. He suddenly comes up with an excuse, saying that he was just concerned about him because of their recent fight. At first, Shi Yaoya got weirded out that he asked such a thing. However, seeing that he's concerned about Li Feng, she realizes that he's actually quite nice. With this, Shi Yaoya finally shares her observations about Li Feng. He used to be an honest, cowardly trash, but some time ago, his personality suddenly changed when he woke up from sleep. He even talked about weird things like books, transmigration, cheat codes, and the parallel world. However, Shi Yaoya didn't think too much about this, because she thought he was just half asleep. He became an entirely different person after that. Not only did he become brave and introverted, but he also discovered the locations of the top-class items and weapons that no one even knew existed. It was like he had the power of speech and could get anything. Li Feng is actually weak, but since he depends on those S-class weapons and items, he barely manages to reach the S-class hunter's threshold. The elders from both their families said that he received enlightenment or maybe awakened some incredible skill. However, he refuses to give them an explanation. The Demon King doesn't believe that Li Feng was enlightened or awakened. It can't be that simple. The young hero is so sure that the Demon King is not by Qing Feng, but he doesn't dare to tell everyone the reason. Li Feng is known to be impulsive, so what kind of reason will cause him to know something, but doesn't dare to speak it out? He won't even tell his family or Shi Yaoya. There can only be one reason for this. He's not the real Li Feng. If Li Feng tells his family the truth, then he's as good as dead. Considering all the factors that Shi Yaoya shared, the Demon King confirms that the real Li Feng has been possessed. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembles, and a defeating roar fills the air. An A-rank demon had escaped from the dungeon, wreaking havoc. Amidst the chaos, someone mentions that Li Feng had gone to fight it. In the streets, Li Feng charges at a corpse canine, an A-class demon. Using his S-class weapon, the Raging Flames frost-flying sword, he glares fiercely at the demon, sending 100 ice shards straight at it, piercing its massive body. Drawing another S-class weapon, the Meteor Star Sword, Li Feng declares himself the hero who will protect everyone. With a powerful leap, he strikes the demon with a sweeping blow, causing the ground beneath him to shatter. Witnessing his victory, the people around him shout with joy. One exclaims that even an A-class demon can't dare to defeat the mighty Li Feng. Some also claim that he's the new genius, who deserves the spotlight. As everyone celebrates Li Feng, the Demon King only grins in fascination, because he knows the nature of corpse canines. It was a stray animal in the city who was slaughtered by humans. After its death, its resentment latched on to the demonic energy in the demonic tower, making it an A-class demon. This species is quite rare, so humans aren't very familiar with it. It has a very unique characteristic, wherein if it receives enough attacks, it fakes its death and then rejuvenates as an S-rank demon. As Li Feng sheathes his sword, believing the demon is dead, the ground rumbles again. Suddenly, the demon's eyes glow with energy. As it transforms into an SS-rank demonic hellhound, Li Feng, in disbelief, faces the demon as it unleashes a powerful stream of flame, pushing him away. He screams in pain and fear, trying to shield himself, but the force sends him flying. He lands hard, sliding along the road before the civilians. Seeing their hero defeated, the people panic, running and begging for help. Meanwhile, Li Feng struggles to stand, unable to believe the demon's power. Just then, Shi Yaoya runs to him, helping him up and urging him to escape. However, the demon approaches quickly, and Shi Yaoya accepts the fact that this will be her end. Before it can strike, the Demon King suddenly jumps toward it, confronting the massive hound. He concentrates energy in his hand, thinking that Li Feng can't die yet, because he needs him to find the divine item. Releasing the energy, he strikes the demon's head, pinning it to the ground. Shi Yaoya and Li Feng turn in surprise as the Demon King restrains the demon, speaking in demonic language and releasing his Demon King aura. The demon dog trembles before him, recognizing its master. With a menacing expression, the Demon King commands the demon to leave. The dog obeys, running away in a hurry. The people around the area watch in astonishment, struggling to believe the demon has run away so easily. Speculations arise about the demon's cowardly behavior and Li Feng's perceived strength. Meanwhile, Shi Yaoya thanks the Demon King, asking how he scared the monster away so easily. The Demon King shrugs, thinking that perhaps the demon is strong on the outside, but still a weakling on the inside. He considers that it doesn't matter now, the important thing is that Li Feng is safe. Perhaps one day, Li Feng will at least be thankful like Tian Tian and will refuse to take him as a target in the future. However, instead of being grateful, Li Feng grabs the Demon King by the collar, questioning if he orchestrated the situation. He suspects that the A-class demon had a secret, and the Demon King must have used a special approach to deal with it. Li Feng feels that the Demon King intentionally withheld information about the demon to make him fail. While being hysterical, Li Feng accuses the Demon King of being happy for taking all the glory, and he must enjoy the feeling of having all the attention. He goes on to blame the Demon King for his failure, acting like a child. Man, someone needs to slap the living hell out of this guy. While listening to Li Feng rant about his issues, the Demon King realizes that not all humans deserve to be saved. The Demon King has had enough of Li Feng's drama, so he grabs his hand and twists it behind his back. This forces Li Feng to bend over, screaming from the pain. The Demon King then clarifies that there is no special secret, because the monster they encountered was just a normal A-class demon. Li Feng is simply incapable, and is now looking for excuses to avoid embarrassment. While observing the two, Shi Yaoya feels disappointed with Li Feng's baseless accusations, given that Qing Feng saved him. Others agree, seeing Li Feng's actions as a desperate attempt to regain his pride. They now start to believe that he may have something to do with the Elder Prophet's death. It makes sense, since he suddenly became strong, as if he used some kind of immoral forbidden art. Li Feng is boiling with rage, noticing the growing support for the Demon King. He thinks that these people are fools for not seeing through the imposter's disguise, and even worse, they're siding with him. Just then, the Demon King lets go of Li Feng's arm, wanting to make peace. This sudden kindness enrages Li Feng, knowing well that this guy is just playing innocent to gain advantage of the situation. Suddenly, Li Feng strongly grips the Demon King's hand, faking an apology to match the Demon King's act. He then claims that he lost his temper from being hit by the demon dog, but he's very grateful for being saved. With a fake smile, he firmly holds the Demon King's hand and tells him to take care of him in the future. The Demon King keeps on with the act, saying that there's no need to be polite because he should be thanking Li Feng. He then leans closer to Li Feng, thanking him for being one of the suspects of the Elder Prophet's death. He suddenly reveals that he's the culprit, making Li Feng's eyes widen in disbelief. Furious, Li Feng attempts to attack the Demon King, but Shi Yao Ya stops him. She reminds him that everyone is watching and that he shouldn't be targeting the one who saved him. This forces Li Feng to stop, knowing that it's harder to win the fight when the public's opinion is against him. He then looks at the grinning Demon King, wondering what his intentions are. He knows the story's course is changing, and Qing Feng isn't supposed to return alive in the original narrative. The disruption in the plot unnerves him, but Qing Feng, with a sinister smile, is unfazed and focused on acquiring a sealing artifact essential to his plans. Both look at each other with fury, vowing that those who annoy them will die. The next day, Shi Yao Ya meets the Demon King at a cafe. She thanks him for saving her, but he can't even remember that he did. Suddenly, Shi Yao Ya shares that the team is going to obtain the sealing item soon. However, Li Feng doesn't allow anyone to look at the map, but he did say that it's in the south. Shi Yao Ya warns the Demon King that it will be a long journey, so she hopes that he will get along with Li Feng and will overlook his behavior. She suddenly blushes in embarrassment, claiming that she has known him since they were young, and that he's actually a good person. Qing Feng plays along, but internally, he revels in the irony of a parallel world's pathetic man, inhabiting the body of a once innocent guy. He even has the audacity to worry someone else's lover and claim that he will be the hero who will protect this world. The Demon King continues to play it cool, casually sipping his coffee. However, he quickly spits it out, surprised by the flavor. It's hard to understand human taste, although he did try some varieties of coffee before. Shi Yao Yan is shocked by his reaction, but the Demon King simply wipes his mouth and asks about the possibility of Li Feng being sick. This would probably explain why he suddenly changed. He then suggests that an item hidden in the south will reverse Li Feng's erratic behavior, bringing him back to his old self. However, at the back of the Demon King's head, he only wants to make sure that he will obtain the divine item while Shi Yao Ya is distracted. This interests Shi Yao Ya, and she asks if this can truly cure her fiancé. With a fake smile, the Demon King reassures her that it will. Meanwhile, Li Feng is roaming the city, occupied with his thoughts. He knows that the current storyline is only in the prequel scenario, and the actual story hasn't even started yet. However, in this prequel, he clearly remembers that Bai Qing Feng didn't come back alive. The Elder Prophet did die before the beginning of the story. So what could this mean? Just then, Li Feng remembers that Qing Feng acted suspiciously when he first saw him yesterday. It was like he was trying to run away. However, when he told him about the sealing item, he suddenly agreed to join the team. Li Feng drowns deeper in his thoughts, thinking that his transmigration and appearance caused a deviation from the original storyline. Was this imposter supposed to leave this place and disappear silently? This must be why the original story didn't record an unimportant person, who impersonated Bai Qing Feng for 2 days. Moreover, the culprit who killed the Elder Prophet was never found in the novel, as he's supposed to disappear silently. He also never appeared again as Bai Qing Feng. However, because of Li Feng's transmigration, a person who is supposed to leave ends up joining the important mission of finding the sealing item. This leaves Li Feng wondering, will this change the story's ending? All this overthinking overwhelms him, as he was just trashing his past life who got thrown into this world. He didn't think becoming a celebrated hero would be this troublesome. Just then, Li Feng spots Shi Yao Ya in the cafe with the Demon King. He is consumed with jealousy, but he reassures himself that the storyline will never change, because he's the only one with an omniscient viewpoint. The next day, the president appoints Li Feng as the leader. The young hero decides to deal with Qing Feng later, but for now, he must keep up with his act. And so the group departs, ready to claim the divine item. As the squad carries on with their mission, they come across some ferocious demons made out of magma. With a straight face, the Demon King creates a large energy ball in front of him to fight the advancing monsters. Li Feng also battles these creatures, using his sword to launch powerful attacks. The entire team stands together, using their techniques to fend off the surrounding monsters. Li Feng tells the others that the demons aren't strong on their own, but they keep coming one after another. Meanwhile, the Demon King can only roll his eyes at the irony of this situation, knowing that he's siding with humans to kill demons. Although this bothers him a bit, he reassures himself that it's just an act. Suddenly, a guy from their group starts releasing strong green energy that swirls around his body. The veins on his hand holding the sword pulsate, and his entire body is enveloped in strong energy caused by the poison element. He then screams and stabs his sword into the ground, releasing a huge amount of powerful energy. As the monsters continue to approach, The energy string he releases hits them, eradicating them all at once. After he finishes releasing his energy, he takes a huge breath, relieved that the worst is over. Witnessing what the guy just did, the Demon King admits that this young man has potential. Just then, Tian commends the guy with the sword, whose name is Liu Xiaoke. Xiaoku gets shy, explaining that he's only good against hordes, but not fighting one-on-one battles. Li Feng smiles, knowing that it was right to bring Xiaoku along. Just then, he tells the group that he has an announcement. He claims that the artifact is ahead, but the terrain is unpredictable, and they know nothing about the monsters that lurk there. This journey might be much riskier than it seems. They've been traveling non-stop for 5 whole days, so he thinks they should return to town and rest for a bit. Li Feng then informs them that he will go ahead and scout the whole area. However, everyone freaks out as soon as they hear this, worried about the dangers that he might encounter. Li Feng remains resolute, reassuring everyone that it's his responsibility as the leader to find the safest path for the team. He then turns his back on everyone and starts walking, claiming that he already made up his mind. Xiaoku cries because of Li Feng's sacrifice, and this makes Li Feng smile. Everything is falling into place, and this greatly involves Xiaoke. It turns out that Xiaoke, a rising star born in the lair of demons and tempered in the depths of poisonous caves, is a future SS rank whose name will shock the world. Their relationship now is only a short-term cooperation, but in the original story, he was the main character's most reliable assistant. His devotion played a significant role in the protagonist's path to success. He became this way because the protagonist used several high-quality ingredients to prepare an S-class cleansing potion that cleansed his body of the toxin that he accumulated as a child. From then on, he was ready to sacrifice his life for the protagonist. But since the story hasn't begun yet, Li Feng plans to subdue Xiaoke before the main character appears. He will not only obtain the artifact, but also the fate of the protagonist, replacing him and becoming the new hero of this world. Li Feng then turns to the team and tells them to wait for him in the town. He says they'll continue moving forward together after he comes to find them. As he leaves, he thinks to himself that only a few people in the world know where to find the necessary ingredients. Fortunately, he is one of them, as their location was mentioned in the comic. Very soon, Xiaoku will become his loyal subordinate. Meanwhile, as the Demon King watches him leave, he ponders about Li Feng's motives, knowing he's not the genuinely selfless type. Just then, Xiaoya tells Tian that there's an underground auction house nearby, and she plans on going there. Tian pleads to go with her, and they will be back in a few days. As the two leave the team, Xiaoya thinks about everything that the Demon King told her. If Li Feng's soul is being devoured by a demon, causing his personality to change, then she must win the item that can purge souls and bring back the real him. Meanwhile, the strong-armed man in the group says that they're the only ones left, so they should return to the town and rest as the young master ordered. Suddenly, the Demon King stops him, making the man question if he has any problems with Li Feng's orders. Li Feng really brainwashed these folks, huh? At the back of the man's head, the Demon King is not a good person because Li Feng doesn't like him. Suddenly, the Demon King says he was touched by Li Feng's decision not to put them in danger, but he's still worried about him. Why not follow him quietly to help in a difficult situation? The man is shocked by this suggestion, but he immediately agrees with the Demon King because he's also worried sick about Li Feng. Xiaoku also agrees to go, exclaiming that the Demon King is a good person. Meanwhile, Xiaoya takes one last look at the Demon King and thinks that he's a warm-hearted person for being worried about Li Feng. The Demon King tries downplaying the praise, saying that he's only doing everything for the sake of humanity. But really, he just wants to uncover Li Feng's dirt. Later on, in a dungeon, there are huge statues whose eyes emit a red glow. Massive chess pieces move on an equally huge chessboard as Li Feng walks towards it. It's an S-rank dungeon called the Malicious Chessboard. God, that's so lame. He thinks, as written in the book, that the purification crystal is somewhere on this board, but he doesn't know the exact location. Suddenly, he hears a loud sound and feels something ominous. Just then, Li Feng turns around, wondering where this dread is coming from. To his surprise, he sees a huge red chess piece approaching him with great speed, and he wonders if it is the king. He quickly runs for his life, but the king chases after him. As Li Feng tries to run away, a spirit with a crown appears above the chess piece. Li Feng notices this and gets horrified, knowing that he's dealing with a chess spirit. The king's spirit reaches out to grab Li Feng, but he deflects the hand with his sword. However, can't help but notice the spirit is very strong. Just then, the spirit strikes the chessboard with its palm, but Lin Feng jumps aside, avoiding the attack. He's thrown back by the shockwave, hitting a huge chess piece behind him. He screams in pain, but he forces himself to get up, because a new opponent just joined the chaos. It's the pawn's spirit, and it's ready to charge at him. The spirit strikes with its spear, but it hits the ground when Lin Feng jumps and dodges the attack. Feeling another energy approaching, he turns and sees another spirit, a horse. Just then, Li Feng draws a huge sword, an S-class weapon, called the horse-slashing sword. Lin Feng strikes with the sword, but the horse only bites off the blade, keeping it in its mouth. Li Feng can only stare in horror as he watches his S-class weapon being destroyed. Countless vengeful spirits who died on this chessboard had their souls devoured by the chess pieces. They are forever trapped in this place. The cycle keeps repeating, and the battle only continues. These chess pieces have absorbed so many vengeful hunter souls that they have surpassed their rank. They are even stronger than an S-class. Realizing that he doesn't stand a chance, Li Feng decides to escape. Using a spell, wings made out of energy appear on Li Feng's back. He then soars into the air like a bird, ready to escape. However, he doesn't get far, and the spirit of the queen appears before him, slamming him back to where he came from. The impact raises fragments of stone and a large cloud of dust, and Li Feng is rendered immobile. Suddenly, the king's spirit approaches, looming over him as he lies on the ground. He now finds himself between the king and queen chess pieces, thinking he's done for. He looks in horror at the spirits above him, believing that there's no way out. Suddenly, the king's spirit reaches out to grab Li Feng. He can only scream in horror, claiming that he's a transmigrator who can't die in a place like this. Just then, a huge hand grabs the king's spirit by the head. It's the demon king. He quickly sends electricity down into the king's chess piece, destroying it in a snap. Meanwhile, Li Feng lies on the ground as fragments of the chess piece fall around him. He opens his eyes, wondering who did this. He sees an explosion of energy destroying another chess piece and thinks it was so fast he couldn't see the movements. The remaining chess pieces are destroyed at incredible speed, and Li Feng realizes this person has eliminated all the chess pieces instantly. Lin Feng suddenly stands up, covering his head and wondering who could do this. His squad suddenly runs up to him, concerned about his well-being. Li Feng is surprised to see Shi Yao Ke and the buff guy from earlier, Gao Hu. As they help him up, the young lord asks why they followed him. Gao Hu explains that Qing Feng was worried about him, so they decided to follow, to help if needed. Meanwhile, Shi Yao Ke comments that he lied about scouting the area. He claims entering an S-rank dungeon alone was madness, but he was lucky to join him. Li Feng is enraged when he hears Qing Feng's name, and he quickly realizes that he's the guy who destroyed the chess spirits. Suddenly, souls start emerging from the rubble. These are the souls of the hunters who were killed by the chess pieces, and they're offering the purification crystal to the demon king. They are thanking him for freeing them, though they don't know his true identity. This stresses out Li Feng, knowing that the worst-case scenario just happened. Noticing that Li Feng's eyes are glowing in envy, the demon king raises the stone and asks if he wants it. Li Feng sure has his thoughts written all over his face. Just then, the demon king teases Li Feng, saying that it's too bad, because he now owns the stone. Although the demon king doesn't know what Li Feng's goal is, if it's an item that he wants, then it must have great value. Suddenly, Gao Hu tells Li Feng that they are fortunate to have Qing Feng in the group. He then reminds the young master that they should always work together as a team. Li Feng can only seethe in anger as he listens to this buff guy yap, knowing that he can't lash out. He can't fight the demon king for the stone in front of the team, since he's the one who obtained it. Li Feng gets even angrier as he convinces himself that he doesn't need help in the first place. If he had more time, he could have defeated the king. Sure, you definitely had everything under control. Suddenly, Li Feng acts lightly about the situation, reassuring everyone that they don't need to worry about him. Out of nowhere, he suddenly runs out of the vicinity, telling the other to go back because he still has to scout the area. In reality, he plans to make a semi-finished purification potion. If he gathers the remaining materials, he can still do it, even if he doesn't have the purification crystal. Although the effects won't be as good, it might be enough. Meanwhile, the demon king observes Li Feng as he runs away. The more Li Feng tries to hide, the more he exposes the fact that he has ulterior motives. The Demon King is now determined to see what exactly he's planning to do. In that case, he'll just copy whatever he's doing and be better than him. Does he even have to try, though? Later on, Li Feng arrives in the Dried Bones Lake, an S-class dungeon. However, the Demon King has already obtained the Three Flames pill before him, making him pissed. Li Feng quickly heads to the Bone Cliff next, an A-class dungeon. However, the Demon King has outdone him again, obtaining the Bone Dragon's scale. Next, Li Feng heads to the Wing Whistle Abyss, an S-class dungeon. But like always, the Demon King claims the rare material first, which is the Peerless Water. This is the last straw for Li Feng, causing him to scream in frustration. Meanwhile, Xiao Ke and Gao Hu reassure Li Feng that Qing Feng only trying to look after him. This only infuriates Li Feng further, knowing he didn't even obtain a single material, and he can't even say anything about it. As Li Feng continues his inaudible rant, the Demon King observes the rare materials that he found. He wonders why Li Feng was trying to escape the group to find these. It just doesn't make sense, since he doesn't look like someone who's short on money. Just then, Xiao Ku approaches the Demon King, asking him to help in calming down Li Feng. Just then, the young man sees the rare materials in the Demon King's hand, and he wonders if these are what he's been looking for all these years. With enthusiasm, Xiao Ku asks to take a look at the materials. The Demon King suddenly directs his energy to the objects using the enhancement skill. The objects begin to come together due to the combination spell, and when he finishes, he ends up with an S-rank purification potion. The Demon King looks at the potion he made from the collected materials, while Xiao Ku cries and says that this is the S-rank purification potion he has asked many alchemists to create, but none could. Suddenly, the Demon King asks if Xiao Ke needs the potion, and immediately throws it to him, saying he doesn't need it. Xiao Ku catches the potion with great shock, and asks in a trembling voice if he's sure about giving it to him. Realizing what happened, he loudly asks with great surprise if the Demon King just gave it to him without wanting anything in return. He thinks that with this, he can finally cleanse his body of the toxins accumulated over the years. A weird look in his face slightly scares the Demon King. Suddenly, Li Feng hugs the Demon King's leg, crying and saying that he's such a good person. Because of that, he will be his most devoted follower from now on. Embarrassed, the Demon King tells him to leave him alone and questions why he's acting like this over an ordinary S-rank potion. Xiao Ke, still hugging the Demon King's leg, expresses surprise at his selflessness and promises never to leave him behind. Irritated, Qing Feng tries to break free, telling Xiao Ku to let him go, but Xiao Ku continues humming his leg like a leech. Meanwhile, Li Feng looks at them with intense anger, his eyes turning red. Someone give this guy an award for keeping it all in. Gao Hu tries calming him down, but Li Feng doesn't listen, thinking that Qing Feng ruined his plans again. Sensing Li Feng's aura, the Demon King notices his depressed state and finds it strange. He also wonders why the materials Li Feng was gathering happened to be those needed for Xiao Ke's potion. Suddenly, it dawns on the Demon King that Li Feng wants Xiao Ku on his side. However, he beat the young master to it. This is possible, but how did he find the locations of those materials, and why is he so sure of Qing Feng's death? The Demon King can't be sure, so he has to wait for Xiao Ya to bring the item that restores souls. Meanwhile, Li Feng takes a huge breath and urges the team to return to town. However, this time, Li Feng is determined to get rid of the Demon King. Later, at the hotel, Li Feng orders Gao Hu to kill Qing Feng. Shocked, Gao Hu reminds him that Qing Feng has saved them many times. However, Li Feng insists that Gao Hu must follow his order without question, reminding him of his loyalty since childhood. Gao Hu protests, saying Qing Feng's power is incomprehensible, and they are no match for him. Just then, Li Feng suggests using the forbidden technique to elevate Gao Hu to the SS rank for a short time. However, Gao Hu warns that it will cost him his life, but Li Feng dismisses this, urging him to remember his oath of allegiance and sacrifice himself for humanity's future. Left with no choice, Gao Hu agrees, not for humanity, but to fulfill his oath to Li Feng. Meanwhile, Li Feng looks at him with disgust, thinking it's nonsense. Man, just kill this guy already. That night, the Demon King stands in an empty park by a large fountain, noticing something strange in the water. Suddenly, an ice crystal flies at him, which he dodges. More huge ice crystals fly towards him, but he quickly lands on the frozen water, wondering what's happening. The pawn freezes over instantly, and he realizes he's facing an SS rank opponent. Gao Hu, using a forbidden SS rank technique that consumes his vital energy, attacks the Demon King with huge shards of ice. Gao Hu doesn't even look like himself anymore, and it's like he's functioning on autopilot. Just then, the Demon King dodges the massive ice, impressed by Gao Hu's strength. Despite a small cut on his face, the Demon King's wound heals quickly. He smiles menacingly, saying it's interesting that Gao Hu was the first person to wound him.